Okay, so what are we going to do here? Little track walk for the 991 GT3. I have the pig configuration on, basically the changed camber and the weight and power reduction that's similar to a factory GT3 prepped for the track. So we're going to turn down the volume a little bit, just kind of walk through some stuff, go through the layout of the track. This is VIR. He's going to be coming out of the pits, coming onto the front straight, and heading into turn 1 and 2, which is the horseshoe. Obviously, just like most other tracks, you're going to see kind of a scrubbed in area and then a darker, not so scrubbed in area. So horseshoe, basically 2 turns turned into 1. It does have a slight bump. It's right about here. You'll see the car move a little bit. Yep, right there. Coming around. Nice and early on the throttle is what you want to do. Coming into NASCAR bend. NASCAR bend, again, you turn 2 turns into 1. Keep it wide. Start to slowly scrub speed with the brakes as you're coming in here. Turning these 2 turns into 1 turn. And then as soon as you can, start to roll onto the throttle and head into left hook. Left hook. Now left hook, you want to sacrifice left hook. Take it tight and a little apex late so you can come out a little wider. So you can set yourself up and carry more speed so that you can maximize your speed output for this area called the snake. Snake is going to be pretty much a flat all the way through, up to the bridge, through the bridge, into the first turn, obviously gradually increasing the speed. You want to kind of lift and feel. Now remember, when we're going over hills like this and coming down, we're going to lose grip. When we're pushing into areas like this where we're climbing hills, we're going to add grip. So lost grip, adding grip. Coming up on this hill, right hand turn. This is coming down into the south bend. Very dangerous area. Scrubbing the brakes, scrubbing the speed. Staying left. Always stay left. You really want to just really get comfortable with that area coming down into heading into the oak tree turn here shortly. Now keep in mind the oak tree is not there anymore, but obviously due to this leading onto a long back straight, you really want to optimize and try to get the throttle on very soon before the apex if you can. And then this is the back straight, heads past the second pit area on the left, climbs up the hill. This is all pretty much flat all the way through here, just kind of doing a track walkthrough, so we're not going at full speed yet. We'll get some heat in the tires. Coming up, still flat all the way through here. Get into your braking zone, braking up into roller coaster. Obviously you're pushing down, so your braking can be a little bit more effective because it's like you have more downforce because you're pushing into it, and here you lose grip, you're lifting. And coming down here, staying tight, hugging the edge, coming off, really widen that turn, set yourself up for hog pin. The goal of hog pin is to stay as tight as you can, and then as you get down into actual hog pin, you want to get on the throttle as soon as you can to maximize that front straight. And you're going to be flat all the way through that front straight. So we'll pick up speed here a little bit. Going through, that's the pit area where you entered the track up here. This is where you're going to be coming into the first turn. Keep it tight. It was a little wide. Sorry, tires are still cold, so we'll do another warm-up lap, just talk you through it. NASCAR bend, turning 2 turns right here into 1. Carrying speed, you're going to be braking, and then slowly carrying speed and rolling on the throttle as you exit all the way into left hook. We're going to sacrifice left hook, come in a little late apex to open ourselves up to be able to carry more speed and get more momentum to carry through on the snake so we can maximize the full throttle opportunities. Coming through the snake, a little bit tricky. This is kind of a little bit of a feel. Maybe some light lifts, some touches of the brake if you need to. For comfort, little scrub speed there. Get you set up for South Bend. South Bend, once again, probably one of the most dangerous turns on the track. Keep it down into probably want to be around 3rd gear, and then obviously want to turn and roll on the throttle and really maximize this back straight. So we should be full throttle all the way through this back straight. It's kind of bumpy. It's a hill climb and then a hill drop and then a hill climb again into the braking zone into the braking zone. We can brake a little bit later than we normally do, just because we're on the incline of the hill, so we got a little bit more pressure on the tires, a little bit more grip. And then as we come over roller coaster, you get that roller coaster feel as you crest. Hog pen carries speed, but also be very cautious. The goal of hog pen is to be able to come out with the car stable and roll on the speeds earlier, so you can once again maximize the full throttle opportunities for the front straight. Stay tight, let it fan out a little bit as you come into here, get into your braking zone. Horseshoe, keep horseshoe nice and tight, wait till you get over the bump, hit the bump. Oh, sorry, I got a little bit off track there, it's alright. Coming in through here, throttle. Scrubbing speed as we're opening up the wheel. You don't want to be closing the wheel and scrubbing speed. It's two contradicting actions that the tire does not like. We're going to sacrifice left hook. Stay wide here so we can come in and open up that arc, really open up that arc and speed, and really carry it through all the way through Snake. Excuse me, the entrance to Snake, so we can maximize our full throttle opportunities. Little light lift there because the car doesn't seem to like it. And then scrub some speed here with the brake a little bit. Coming in, braking into South Bend. Keep it nice and close. Wait till you can see the road. Remember here, we're just kind of trying to scrub speed and maximize our throttle. See how we got on the throttle. Got a little throttle late, but the goal is to get on that throttle much sooner. And obviously, as I mentioned before, Oak Tree is no longer there. It got struck by lightning quite a few years ago. So it's a clear line of sight as you're coming around that turn now. So it's not something you really need to worry about anymore. Once again, in the braking zone, because we're pushing the car in, we're compressing the suspension, we've got a little bit more grip to play with. Coming down a roller coaster, keeping it tight, using all the road. Hog pin. Trying to carry as much speed as we can, but be able to maximize the end. The speed you want from hog pen is at the end, not at the beginning. Don't try to come into hog pen fast. It's better to come into hog pen slow and controlled, and then be fast out, because you can get to maximize this whole straight. Coming into horseshoe again. We're going to keep it tight this time. Wait for the bump and then really roll back onto the throttle. NASCAR. Scrubbing speed as we're opening up the wheel. If we need to, we can add a little maintenance throttle just to keep the speed up. Left hook, we're going to sacrifice left hook, so we're going to do a late apex to open up the arc, to carry that speed, to set ourselves up to get on the throttle nice and soon, heading into the Snake. And once again over the hill, losing traction, gaining traction as we go over these hills and bumps. Tap to scrub some speed, a little bit more throttle, then braking safely into South Bend, and then opening up the throttle when we feel the car come around. We're kind of braking, trying to scrub speed. We're not full braking. We're just trying to carry as much momentum as we can so we can get that throttle nice and soon, nice and early, so we can go ahead and maximize that back straight again. Full throttle all the way to the back straight. And then we're heavy on the brakes, heavy. The compression of the suspension's allowing us to brake much more than we normally can, keeping it tight over roller coaster. Scrub off a little speed before hog pen, get the car set up. So we can maximize that throttle. Yep. So these are kind of the main points that I wanted to go over with you. You can obviously watch this video as many times as you want. You can turn on the line to replicate it, but just to kind of give you some basics, obviously don't forget the bump here into the horseshoe right there. Don't commit to the throttle too soon. Okay? And then coming around NASCAR bend, it's basically two turns into one, so you're going to be on the throttle, then scrubbing some speed. As you're scrubbing speed, opening up the wheel, looking at the apex, and then waiting for you to be able to get back on the throttle to carry you down into left hook. Left hook, obviously we're going to sacrifice left hook. for the better angle here. So late apex, you can come out here a little wide and then really get in and open up this arc so you can carry more speed and set yourself up for a longer throttle going into the entrance of Snake. Snake, be very careful, listen to the car, feel the car, let it tell you what it needs to do. You might need to scrub a little speed here. It's always good to be on a little brake right there, and then a little bit more brake coming into South Bend. When we do one more lap, I'll kind of show you if something does happen, what I want you to do. If there is a fiasco at South Bend, I'll show you. And then Oak Tree, which isn't there, invisible Oak Tree. Roller coaster, as you can see, you're kind of blind, and then the track starts to reveal itself. Just stay tight, cut the corners here, come out wide a little bit as you set yourself up for Hogpen. Hogpen's blind as well, as you can see right there. So you want to just carry as much speed as you can, not too much. It's better to go slow in, fast out on Hogpen than it is to come blazing in and try to just stand on your brakes and sort it all out. It usually doesn't end well. One of the things to keep in mind for VIR here is obviously, as you can see to the left and to the right, in most places there isn't really any kind of close guardrails, and you know, unless you've got off-road tires, which aren't really optimal for the track, you're going to go for quite a long slide no matter what you do if you go off track. So you always want to try and just be careful. Make sure you're using the brake when you need to. If you need to, overuse it until you get that confidence. Because if you go off track here, you're going to slide for quite a while, and usually you end up in a bit of tires or some wall after a long slide. As you can see, just the distances between the track and the safety barriers, they seem like they're a long ways away, but when you've got any kind of speed and you're sliding and you've got no traction, they come up on you really fast. So one of the things I want to show you now, obviously through here, just be mindful of the curbs here. They are fairly easy to run over. They're easy. They're not too harsh on the car or the tires. So you can kind of nudge them a little bit. You just don't want them to upset you. Up here is if you start to get a little confident and you start carrying too much speed up here through South Bend, one of the big mistakes that people make here is they carry too much speed, brake, and if they lose traction, they try to continue and stay on the track. Now I know it's against your nature to try to just go, all right, I'm just going to run off, because this is a fairly steep runoff. But from every experience, and anybody who's done VIR will tell you, if you're going to run off, you want to run off this way and slide. So you want to run off this way, off the track, slow down as much as you can, get as much of the braking done on the asphalt as you can, and then try to rejoin the track somewhere down here. What you don't want to do, because it's so tight, is you don't want to go off the track to the left. Let me turn around. Alright, so what you don't want to do, you're coming around this turn at speed, and obviously you want to go a little slower at speed. You lose traction here, and you start to brake right, rear brakes out, you keep it this way, and you catch it, and then you just, people end up there every time, or in the tires. So if something feels unsafe, you know, obviously you're going to build up that confidence to get into South Bend, but when in doubt, bail out right, and anybody on that track will tell you to bail out right. All right. Hope this gives you a little bit of tidbits to talk about, and obviously later on we can set up a session. We can go over some things if you want. We can do a hosted session. We'll get on the track. We'll do it together. I just wanted to give you kind of a brief walkthrough. One other thing is on this exiting of the track right here, all this part where it's dirt right here, this is now all concrete. It's been paved, so there's a lot more room left to be on track. So if you're coming out of of where the oak tree is, you'll really see how much concrete they've paved over on the left. So you can use all of that concrete within confidence. Don't get too wide, but there's some concrete over there on the left to use for some grip to carry that speed up to this hill. All right, I'll go ahead and just finish this off, pull it into the pits. We'll go through through roller coaster and hog pen one more time. All right, so that concludes it. So obviously, and kind of recap, just the overarching thing or theme of VIRs. Obviously, there looks like there's a lot of runoff room, but when you're carrying any kind of speed, you don't have traction on the grass, you will go very far, almost all the way out to the guardrails. So don't let the guardrails being out that far let you think you've got some sort of huge buffer, because that's where it's tricky and that's where it'll get you. Remember, obviously, when you're going up a hill, you're compressing the suspension, you'll have a little bit more grip than normal, and you'll feel that. And then when you're going over or you're lifting and coming down off a hill, you're going to have less traction. So just be mindful of that when you apply the brakes and when you apply the throttle. Okay, you don't want to be coming down a hill and then start to get on the brakes or make a snap throttle change, and all of a sudden the car's out of whack. Remember the runoff areas, and then yeah, have fun. We'll set up a session. We'll do something else, but I just wanted to give you something as kind of a baseline. So hope this helps.